Good morning and welcome to Houston FinTech. My name is Odell DeVay, president of Houston FinTech Corporation. So it's HoustonFinTech.com. We are a commercial business funding source for all types of business, whether it's office buildings, apartments, acquisitions, shopping centers, malls, cash out. If you have a property and you want to liquidate, we do cash out. We do help small businesses. We help medium businesses, large businesses, accounts receivables, accounts. Uh, in any way that we can assist your business, we're here for you. So, Odell DeVay, Houston FinTech, and I want to welcome you to your first class here. So, we're doing a series. The leadership of your organization has asked us to do a series of lessons, and so we want to start with the very beginning, right? So we're going to call this Money Matters, Money Matters 101, where we cover the basics of how money works. Uh, there's a lot to go into what I call financial enlightenment, right? So a lot of people think that, hey, if I pay my bills on time, keep a fair credit, that's financial, being financially astute, right? Saving money, doing your 30, 40 years and having your retirement. And all of that is good. It's a great thing if you are in that position. Financial enlightenment is going to work at a higher level, right? We're going to be thinking in terms of wealth management. We're going to be thinking in terms of wealth creation. We're going to be thinking in terms of how do we set up legacies and endowments for our children's children. Okay, so in other words, how do we, one, put ourselves in a position where we do enjoy good retirement and that type of thing, and then also, how do we set up the future generations? Okay, so in level 101 of Money Matters, we just want to kind of get you familiar with terms. Right? We want to get you familiar with terms. We want to get you familiar with what is money. Right? So, money is simply what's commonly accepted as valuable to exchange. Right? So in America, money is considered the US dollar, cash. But in truth, we know in today's times, money is actually mostly in the form, right, of a digital currency, right? So for the most part, most people get their paychecks direct deposit. They may never actually see a check, right? They may never actually possess in their hands cash. Yet and still, we consider those numbers on a digit sent from one place to another as money, which is accepted as what? A medium of exchange to be able to give one thing for another. So we're going to start off with that definition of money. And the reason we say that, or the reason I say that, is because when you understand that your value is beyond the cash dollar, and more so in what can you exchange for what you want or need, what can you give for what you want or need, you understand that the term money really applies to the term of what is a commonly accepted value, right? Your talent, for instance, has its value. The better you are at whatever it is you do, the more valuable that tends to become, right? And as it is considered a higher level of expertise and is appreciated more by the people, right? Whoever would appreciate your service, then it turns into what? A medium of exchange. In other words, your talent you can exchange for cash or those digits wired over to your account in the form of whatever pay or compensation or goods or services from somebody else that you want, right? So money, that term really relates to accepted value commonly in the area in which you are, okay? Now, because of how it's commonly perceived as some form of cash or some form of numbers on a, on a, on a wire, we're going to use money in those terms. So, one, we have the definition of money being a medium of exchange commonly accepted by those in your immediate surroundings, right? So that's our definition of money. Then we're going to say that for the purposes of going forward, understanding that money has its value related to talent, intellectual property, actual goods and services, products, etc. Understanding that, now let's talk about how to make money from that medium of exchange. There are going to be, the majority of people are going to make their money, right, by working, right, by giving hours of their time for a set amount of return income. That's a great majority of people are doing that, right? Some 70, 80% of almost every culture does that. Then there are those who are going to make their money based on the service that they provide or the expertise that they have, the skills that they have, and they're going to set their money is going to be not a set figure based on time, but more a figure based on the value of their time. Now, I really need you to understand the difference here, because once you understand the difference here, you will understand why a person who works based on the per hour can never match the income. Never. You don't have one example of anyone matching the income of the top 3% wealth earners. I would say the top 10% of wealth earners. So that means no matter how great a job, that job could pay $100 an hour, $200 an hour, $300 an hour. It can never match doing the same work and being paid for the value of the work you provide versus the time it takes you to do it. That's a simple fact. So when it comes to how do we make money, we need to understand that our best way to make money is to get great at what we do. Get great at what we do, and then to do it, to get paid on doing that service, not the time it takes to do that service. So yes, I'm disagreeing with 80% of the world's population of employees. Obviously, we need employees. We have to have great people to work for us. But we're not talking about, I'm not teaching you so that you can be an employee. You don't need me for that. Right? That's not my skill set. My skill set and my purpose here is not to help you be a better employee or to make more per hour. That would be not the purpose here. My purpose here is to enlighten us on how we can be a stronger society, have more value to bring to our churches, synagogues, mosques, communities, our families, our immediate societies, by understanding how money really works. And so to begin by understanding how money really works, we need to understand first, what is money, and then how to maximize the opportunity to make money, right? So one, we know what money is. I defined that first. And two, my second point to you is that it's okay to have an hourly job. I'm not against hourly employees. I understand that. It's okay to have set salaries, right? All of that is fine and good, and 80% of the population fits in that category, right? They either know how much they're making them every month, no matter how good or bad a work they do, right? Because they're getting paid by the hour, they're getting paid by the month, or whatever, a set amount. My challenge to you is that 80%, no matter how high that set amount is, can never ascend into the top 5 or 10% of the income earners simply because money does not work that way. Money respects the idea of being maximized by saying, hey, what is the most valuable way I can spend the next minute? That most valuable way, right, is going to exceed any hourly rate ever, right? And I'm including professional athletes, $50, $60 million a year for what they do. They're working for somebody who's making 10, 20, 100 times that in the same amount of time. They're working for somebody who's doing less work in the same amount of time, yet making 10, 20, 100 times more money. Why? Because they understand how money works. So, one, we understand what money is. Two, we understand how money works as far as money rewards the person or the people who understand that you get more of me by creating a form that is not limited to time, right? So right now, as I'm talking to you, our business is not based on hourly time. My income has not been based on hourly time in over 30 years. I'm a father. I have children who've eaten every day, a roof over their head, transportation. And I can say to you that none of that has happened with them being subject to their father being limited to hourly time. Do you take an hourly job to help you get to the next level? Of course, there's no problem with that. I've done that. But my encouragement to you would be to look at what your talents and your skill set is and what your desire is. This lesson of enlightenment, this series is really designed for those who feel like their value and what they bring to the community, what they can bring to their churches, synagogues, mosques, their families, exceeds what they're doing now. Okay? So with that in mind, everything that I'm talking to you about has no disrespect at all to the working person, to whoever is totally happy and satisfied in whatever position they are. Right? The goal is to be fulfilled and have a sense of fulfillment in life and a sense of accomplishment and companionship, joy, and love. If you're there and financially you're happy, this lesson may not have a lot of value to you. If, however, you believe that, hey, even with a good job, I can do more, I can be more, then perhaps we're in the right place. So once we understand that we do not want to ever limit our income or tie it to time, then we look to see what talents do we have that will allow us to get better at. What can I do? What can I be better at? That will allow me to start getting paid for the service of what I do versus the time it takes me to do it. Because I may be able to give you in 1 minute some financial advice that blesses your business, that helps your company, helps your family, helps you with your retirement, your kids' college fund, etc. I may be able to do that in 1 minute. You pay me for that, right? And that exceeds. And so now I've multiplied myself by 60 times, because if I can do it in 1 minute for you, I can do it in 1 minute for 59 more people, right? And so instead of me accepting $10 an hour for the exact same information, I've literally multiplied myself 60 times and therefore draw in 60 times the amount of money. The key is the service, the information that I'm providing has to be valuable enough in perception by those who would pay for it to sustain that over and over and over, right? That's what you want to accomplish. You want to know what your skill set, what your talents are. Do you do hair so well that everybody wants to have you do their hair? Do you do nails so well that everybody wants you to do their nails? Are you an accountant that's so great at the numbers that everybody wants your service in accounting? Or are you a financial guru, a wealth management, asset management person, right, that deals with finances and helping other businesses to a point where you've been doing it 30 years and people come to you for your services and they'll happily pay you for it because they know you know what you're doing? Are you a plumber or an electrician? Whatever you are you good enough to where your name and who you are stands above the rest? That's the beginning of being able to draw more money. If not, let's get there. What is your skill set? What is it that you like to do? What are you passionate about? I love helping people. I love the idea of seeing people literally move from one place or station in their life up to another place or station in their life. And when I say up, I'm not talking about the dollar amount. I know some very wealthy people who are miserable. So money does not have anything to do with fulfillment. Fulfillment, and in my eyes, money helps us when we are following our passion and our pursuit and our purpose for being here, right? The money will come. I love helping people. So for 30 years, I'm helping people, and I found that I don't have to worry about whether the money will come. People will pay me to listen to me tell them how to go do something and see the results of that over time. What is your skill set? What do you bring to the table? What do you offer to society that is valuable enough to increase the amount of money that you currently have coming into a higher level? To give your family, yourself, the opportunity to enjoy more choices in vacationing or time off or being able to go help ministries. I want you to consider these two things, and then I'm going to let it rest here. I want this to rest here with you. One, I want you to understand and remember the definition of money. Money is the universal, commonly accepted currency for your society. In America, it's the cash dollar. In Europe, it's the euro. So whatever that medium of exchange is, you could be, if it's a small island where they're exchanging pigs and horses, that's money. So it's the commonly accepted medium of exchange. Consider this value that you can exchange one to another for goods and services. Two, the second thing I want you to remember from this first lesson is, what is it that you really are hoping to gain financially? How can I help you get to whatever level of fulfillment financially that you want to get to, where you can do the things you really want to do, right? Because money is only about helping us do what we really want to do, right? Do I really want to help ministries? Do I really want to have my children be able to go to this school, that school? Do I really want to be able to take care of mom? Do I really want to be able to help starving children somewhere? Money is simply a means of exchange to help us do those things that we really want to do, which would then give us the fulfillment, right? So those are the two things we want to consider. Third, I want you to consider and ponder before the next lesson. What is it? What are my skill sets? What are my talents? What am I passionate about that I want to be great, that I want to be excellent at, that I want to be above average at? Because that is what is going to bring you to a higher level and bring you doing what you love to do. People can feel they can feel the enthusiasm, they can feel the joy, they can feel the passion. If you bake cookies and you love baking cookies, people can feel that when you're talking about baking cookies. And if that's what you're great at, you really have a talent at it, that should be what you pursue. Now, do you have to work a job or whatever while you're building up your cookie business? Maybe. But what I want you to really stop and consider before we get to the next lesson and start getting into structural things about money is, what do you want to add? What do you want to bring to the table to make your society, your family, your places of worship, your environment a better place? Right? Definition of money, how money works, and what do you bring to the table? That's our lesson for this time. Money Matters 101. We're starting at the very basics, but I promise you, 30 years of experience, I can get you there, right? If we go through all the lessons, level 101, 202, 303, upper level, we literally can go from wherever we are now in life to at least 8, 9 figures. I know I can get you there because, I'm Odell DeVay, Houston FinTech. We'd love to have you. If you have any questions about business, about starting a business, about building your credit, about a cash out review, anything that we can be of service between now and the next time you get the next lesson, just feel free to reach out to us. We're here for you. HoustonFinTech.com. HoustonFinTech.com. We're here for you.